Right. Let's call to order the CAPS meeting for January 2026 at 6:00 p.m. Oh, just before the switch. All right, we get a roll call, please.
Andrew Vaughn.
Here.
Stephanie Cochran and Sherry Smith. Here. Clark McKenzie. Here. Chris Nunez.
Here.
Artist Leibowitz. Here. Councilmember Shaw.
Yep. Thank you. All right, so on the agenda, I would like to move 5B down to 6 somewhere. We're going to just make the film screening thing a discussion instead of a work plan check-in.
Move 5B to what? 6?
Down into 6 somewhere. And then we have a request to add conflict of interest discussion.
Do we do it in staff update?
Yes, that'd be great. So maybe just make an F, staff updates 3F. Or
Hold on.
conflict of interest.
Okay, under discussion items.
For conflict of interest, let's do 3 staff updates.
Oh, stop.
Could I get a motion to approve the agenda as modified?
I move to approve this modified agenda.
Anyone?
I'll second.
The agenda, do we have any public comment in the room or online?
Not online.
Right, then, Leah, welcome. We got you up top here so that you can get in and get out, maybe?
For the record, Leah, could you introduce yourself formally, just since we're recording?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Leah Brother-Clack, Executive Director of Streetwise Arts.
Thank you for being here. Yeah. What exactly did we just want to ask her? Did you have anything you want to say in particular, or are you just here for us to grill you about the PDF here?
Yeah.
Just thought it was, I think, and Michaela can chime in too, but because just in order to stay on schedule, we really thought it would behoove all of us to, just have a direct conversation, see, what work has been done thus far as proposal on behalf of Streetwise, questions that Michaela and I had asked kind of preliminarily. And I feel like it's in a good place for CAP to sort of take it from here so that we can get this to the finish line and try to get this before council on February 9th. So that's kind of where we are. So I did send a couple of days ago the PDF, so you can see the questions that we asked, but overall you're seeing the whole proposal. And again, I think it's great that Lee is here to answer these questions so we can move this along.
Right. I mean, yeah, so I've read this. I have a couple of my own questions, but you know, you guys have tagged a bunch of things in here to do. Michaela, did you have anything you wanted to start with in particular?
No, I think we can ask questions, get more information, and then decide what we want to take to council and how much money you guys want to ask for.
Can we look at the budget then? We're just gonna start somewhere. All right,
I'm
so
gonna put this somewhere where, oops. I'm gonna put this window. There, over.
yeah, okay. So this is a little bit upside down in my mind. We've got, you know, revenue at the top and expenditures at the bottom, but I guess the bottom line need to match roughly, right? So CAPS is committed 25K. I see 10K here from events that I wasn't aware of. That's great. And then the colored lines are the questions, right? So I guess
Yeah.
for you, Leah, is the cost share. And I do recall talking about that, but I guess I need to know how reliable that you know, getting that 50% is in your mind? Like, can we more or less trust that that will happen?
No, I would say you can trust that will happen. I don't know your partners at all for these with these walls. This is totally hypothetical. I was just trying to give some options for you, but that cost share amount there is what I calculated on the walls that have, you know, other partnerships, like the sports stable, for example. You know, if you wanted to approach those wall partners because funding, you know, didn't have full funding from council budget or whatever, but, you know, there would be a pitch that they would contribute 50% of the cost of putting the mural on the wall, which would cover half of the cost of artist fees and supplies and the equipment. So that's kind of a ballpark of the walls that have the partnerships. And then there's still like another 20,000 that needs to be found, but that's at a 50% ratio. So just a hypothetical, again, I could certainly provide support and templates for outreaching in those conversations, benefits but no, I wouldn't say it's guaranteed at all. I think, you know, I don't know who the partners are, or what their investment is, or what their, you know, kind of buy-in is at this point.
Right, and some of those, I guess if we look at the.
If you want to go down to the wall, to the detail in the wall.
Yeah, it was your other PDF that had the sketch of downtown.
That has the breakdown of each wall. Obviously, there's a really big wall with the sports
Mhm.
table. That's a big expense there.
And that's where I go straight away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mentally was just, stable was just not feasible,
Got it.
is what it looks like to me, unless
Unless they're.
they just want to do it in public. Which they might be able, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
they can certainly afford it. And as part of this big event, it might be a good time for them to finally get that big wall taken care of, so. I don't know that I want to necessarily strike it. But I think I am willing to say that we're not willing to pay for it.
Yeah,
That
private
makes
space.
It's private space, why would we spend, I mean, this is how much we pay for our murals and the tunnels and stuff. right?
So,
We-
yeah, so if, let's just hypothetically strike it, and then what do the numbers look like in terms of what we still need to come up with? How does the 25K factor into this bottom number? Is that,
So this number gets copied up, so
okay, so,
that 65 is up here, broken down into the artists and the stipend and the equipment, I think.
Up here,
Right,
44
yeah, so the
plus.
there's 44, 8, and 11, so fees, supplies, and lifts.
mhm. Like lift scaffolding and rental, that would go down without the sports table, I think.
Yeah, I have the spreadsheet that I think.
Yeah,
But it's broken down here, so the 22 is the sum of the sports tables part of those kind of things.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if you take out sports table, you're just under 40,000.
Okay,
It's like 22 grand.
yeah, so,
So that closes that gap, assuming, but it assumes still
The
the
25K.
share.
right, okay.
Meaning 50% from Cornell on those other ones.
if they agree to it.
Right.
I mean, the
Right, so
problem
first
is,
you gotta talk them into letting us pay them at all, then you gotta ask
Yeah.
them to pay for it.
and so many of our things are town property anyway, that there's not gonna be anybody to share those costs with.
Correct.
To
So
begin
this
with.
is top floor, right, which is pretty small, all things considered. Biggest one is the Marshall Bridge.
Gigi, if you have handy there was a sketch, I think it was your other. It did show a map of downtown where it showed the west walls that you were talking about.
Yeah, I did not open that, but I can. If I bring it to it next week. The measurement one?
Yes.
I have a printed version.
There you go. Like, you go like almost all the way to the bottom where it shows. Downtown blocks 9, 10, and 11.
So that is not the video. Where?
Pretty close to the bottom, there's a black slide that has a sketch of downtown that says blocks 9, 10, and 11. Yeah, that one. And then, so the note says the west sides, right? So like the sports stable was over here in the black, right? Is that right? So 11 is,
11, is 11
is this
on the west side?
11 is closest to sports stable.
Okay, so
Yeah.
sports stable is here.
plaza, that's the plaza art.
Plaza's above.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so civic space is right here.
So on the west end, somebody help me, is there anything? So we've got on the east end of 11, we've got Board of Age, right? But on the west end,
Well, that is not
it's
occupied.
not. So there isn't a cost share if you do that end, and then 10. Where's Crack Boba? They're not the end
They're
here.
next to the end of 10, so it's Studio Pilates and then Craft Boba on 10.
So there is somebody occupying that wall, Studio Pilates, would be who we approach there.
No, the buildings are owned by Carmel.
So the occupants
The
wouldn't be able to.
occupants are the leasees.
So leasers can't give permission to do something.
They can't give permission, but could they pay, right? I mean, if Carmel says yes, and then Studio Pilates wants to say in the piece.
Oh, to approach the business owners for
Yeah,
buying?
the occupant, yeah. I don't know, but yeah,
And when you said
they
that
get permission, but
this was part of the plan, is that with these landlords? Was it part of the plan to begin with that was pitched?
So this was part of the development plans and agreements between the town and the developers. Was the potential for those all to be mural sites.
Okay.
That doesn't mean they're guaranteed.
Oh.
That doesn't mean, you know, anything was further discussed other than these would be great walls for potential murals. So. It doesn't give us a whole lot more to leverage, except that it was previously discussed in the development plans.
And the end of each building has a pretty good chunk of wall.
Excluding though the end of building 9, we found out, actually doesn't have a wall. It was covered up with electrical equipment.
Yeah, so we, in the sidewalk, yeah, we kind of turned this corner and we were like, oh, it's like literally this whole side right here, if you can see where my cursor is all electrical, and I did take a photo if you want to pass it. But
And east is my favorite location. Personally. There's nobody in there right now.
yeah, there doesn't have to be, you know, but I was just thinking, you know, the occupant might,
Well, 10 East, that's the hair salon.
That's the one, the east side of 10, that's the one right across from the amphitheater that I took a picture of.
Yeah.
And they said there was maybe gonna be a restaurant going in there.
that's this one here up.
Yes, yeah, and I don't know, it's just a
Yeah.
cool location because it's really central to where a lot of people congregate when there's music and stuff.
Right, they park the food trucks here.
Yeah, exactly.
That might be where the Korean barbecues go.
That's what they said, if it goes in.
Yeah.
then that's where it would be.
They're supposed to be going in.
The preference for the west ends of the buildings, that just came from walking around.
Is that the building you're in?
That was mentioned in one of the CAPS meeting discussions, that west ends would be more prominent. As people were driving into
Oh, driving
town,
in, yeah.
but we can flip flop. You
Doesn't
can pick a
matter,
west,
I
you
mean-
can pick an east.
Do both.
That actually 10 west is pretty offset towards the alleyway.
over
There's like,
here,
yeah, Studio Pilates has a really big set of windows that takes up most of the visible space when you come in on Main.
and then the other wall we saw today, not to jump topic, but that's right here, correct?
Yeah, so that opposite corner, has a great wall when you come into town that's very visible. And it's all black kind of siding. It's the Origins. It has their like utility buildings and then their dog wash is right behind it. But it's
Did you
pretty,
take a picture?
I did, yeah.
I hate I don't know, do you mind
No,
passing your phone?
it's fine.
I thought I did.
Oh, I took it the first round. Hold on.
A big panel would really pop off that black. That would-
Well, and one of the things Leah said was that I liked that you said was that particular, the one that the location Michaela's gonna pass in just a second. It's like a composite or it's a wood already, and I think the first thing that you said today, which I thought was great, was that unlike the brick, that surface could be very easily repainted over.
Yeah.
If we had to return it to original state, or if you wanted a clean slate for a different mural down the road.
Right, absolutely. I have pictures of it too, and you
Oh, yeah, I can't find it in my phone.
can see it. This is when I did my initial site walk, was earlier this year, so it's not.
And if you look up here, everyone, it's right here.
It's inside. But it's pretty substantial and it's right when you drive in, so, and I feel like you can also see it from over by the park. And as well.
And obviously, I don't think it's been measured by any of us, so.
20 by 20 is what I would guess off the top of my head. Which is pretty substantial. The other thing I'll just point out while we're talking about the walls and the sizes. It was mentioned that on those brick walls, on the downtown blocks, that there might need to be panels installed. That cost is not included in my budget. I don't have costs for that yet, but I'm gonna be working on getting some info on options for that. Metal panel with frames is what we talked about today, so it's something that could be switched out maybe in a couple of years if you want to redo it or to get moved, but something.
Sold or auctioned off, maybe.
Potentially, yeah, or repainted, but I'll work on getting something for those sizes, you guys to consider, but that, you know, might be a significant cost as well, especially if you're talking like aluminum panels. But that said, those are really great walls, they're great size, gonna make a lot of impact.
Do you want me to stay here, everyone, or do you want me to go back to the proposal?
Those things, sorry, go ahead.
Well, just of the budget up above. Of these items. How many of these are potentially variable based on the number of walls? And how many of them are fixed no matter how many walls we've got?
So mural artist stipends line item is variable, the equipment rental is variable, paint supplies is variable, because I'm calculating that all on each particular wall, so
Okay,
almost everything except.
This is probably as close as we're gonna be able to get in
Yeah, I
order
think
to
it's
move forward. with
easier to
any
look
kind
at
of-
the wall details, right, and just kind of use that as a. That's really where the decisions and the cost is gonna get.
Yeah.
Really dialed down.
So there is that bottom line item though, right? So there's travel if we accept out of area or not if we don't, and how do we feel about that?
So,
Local artists are cool. Will we be able to fill the docket with local artists?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think that has a lot of appeal anyways. Yeah.
And when you say local, I think a local is called out of waste.
Yeah.
So I just want to, the local might mean something different, I think, but
So maybe that doesn't go away. There might still be some hotel rooms or something, but probably not airfare and such.
yeah, and it's not required that you offer that. It is nice. It makes artists, you know, sometimes they can come and participate without a travel support stipend, but it's nice if you can for that.
For Chris's house.
I was just literally thinking that.
And then there was a mention somewhere that the actual street fair event would be coincided with the conclusion of this, right? So we could see the finishing touches on the painting. So how many days do we think prior that the artist will be working on these?
That depends. Some of these walls are pretty big. I would say 1 to 3 weeks, depending on the artist, how fast they are, how big the wall is. Like that sports staple wall, that would probably take 3 or 4 weeks maybe. But I think most,
What about the breezeway?
how long that would take? Again, it depends on the artist. Some artists are so much faster than others. They're using spray paint, they're faster, but like for that one, if the right of way access is an issue, they could be working on one side. And then flip over to the other, and it shouldn't impact.
Maybe a week.
A week, I think a week is generally good. A week to 2 weeks is usually, you know, where most artists will lie.
Yeah, the two tunnels kind of just blew my mind how fast they were. And both artists that did
Yeah.
those two tunnels.
4 days max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
recognizing that not everybody is that fast, but I was shocked. Okay, Michaela and JD, you guys had a bunch of tags here. Did you want to, anything specific you want to bring up? Because I'm kind of inclined, so we've basically struck the sports stable or said, maybe we'll approach them and say, do you want to do this sort of independently? Suggested that we may be able to knock the accommodation budget down a little bit. And so perhaps the pitch to the council is we think that it's paid for, except the cost share is very up in the air. And so can the town cover that if we can't get there on the cost share? Maybe that's the approach.
Or said slightly differently, if Carmel doesn't want to participate, we just, I mean,
Drop everything.
Just do town.
we skip Carmel stuff, right? Because if I'm them, I'm like, yeah, it looks like you guys are gonna pay for this thing anyways. And they keep claiming that they're not getting the occupancy rates that they want and everything. So, I mean, I'd hate to only do part of it because Carmel doesn't want to do the rest of it, but at the same time, you know, we were supposed to have a bunch of filled spaces in downtown. We don't have that. Right now, so there's definitely a question of like, how much more money do you throw at downtown?
From their point of view.
From our point of view,
From-
like, from Plaza, the things that we own, you know, happy to do it, but the things that they own, they've been a little bit ambivalent about what they're doing to try to fill the spaces. But that's my own one single opinion. I don't know if the rest of the council made that same space.
So you're saying, wait, to clarify, you were saying if Carmel says no, you cancel the whole thing, or if Carmel says no, you just
We focus on
don't.
town stuff.
Yeah, just if Carmel doesn't want to contribute anything, then we deprioritize their spaces and focus on the ones that we
contribute
intend.
financially.
So what does that drop the total budget down for full town walls?
If we drop all of Carmel, that will take me a minute.
I can just easily do it here. So you're talking about the low amphitheater wall, the benches.
Anything that says Carmel, if you just took those.
Well,
the
do you
last
think the
one.
dumpster enclosure is Carmel?
No, that's actually, that belongs to Bixby's.
Oh.
Well, it will.
Here, we painted it for you before you get here.
Yeah,
So is it towns now?
yeah, pretty much.
Sweet.
I mean, there's still lots of space.
Those 4 town walls are like 15 grand.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, plus the bridge on the faster. Like that one definitely will want to do that one, the Bear Park.
You could
But if
add,
you took the last 5 that were all
On the other
Carmel.
side of the bridge.
you could do the other side of the bridge. 4 walls is not like that exciting for a festival. Why you
Yeah.
can do it, but
And didn't Leslie say today, like the benches are there, sure, right? And it could be that we could increase going from 3 benches up to
All of them.
all of them, or.
I mean, how fun would that be?
How many did we count today?
There were 4, 5, 6, 8. You go all the way up Main Street.
What about that area in our civic space right behind the desk that was in one of,
Sort of the pictures.
I can
in the
include
pictures.
interior walls, because that's typically not how mural festivals
Okay.
work. They're usually all outside, public
Okay.
accessible, not that civic center isn't publicly accessible, but it's not really the same thing. So I didn't include those in seven.
Good point. I'm
I
glad you
think
brought
it
that up.
would look good there.
We
But it
as a
could be-
committee can focus on adding other murals around now, for sure. We can just do it independently.
If we get rid of the ones that Carmel owns, do we have other ones, small ones or interesting ones we want to add?
Swap in, yeah, we were just talking about, you know, we can, so there's these benches, I think only 3 are currently, we could do many more. We can do both sides of the underpass, the Marshall Bridge, because right now.
Let me
we
pull
only
up the photos for you. All right, so just starting from the beginning, this is the stage. We believe there's 8 of those. This is the breezeway, I think that's town or not town?
The underpass.
That's the underpass.
Definitely has. So there's,
This would be the, yeah, this is the front, but it would be the back.
and I guess there's at least one more of these, right? We could add the other.
Yeah, you can have the other one on the commons field.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
So if they won't participate, could we get the town to do that one breezeway? Because it is to our space.
yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, I think the breezeway would actually be a great one. The reason for my hesitation to do so much for Carmel is we have businesses across the street here that are getting tagged. They would love to have some murals on the back of their buildings. So it's a function of having dedicate town resources to empty storefronts in downtown versus like some of our existing storefronts.
Are you talking about Safeway area?
Yeah. like,
Because like, I can't find any walls back there. I've walked all
It's the
around
space,
there.
yeah, it's the space behind the buildings, like, so you can see. them
Kind of covered from trees.
Yeah.
Wait, from the field though?
'Cause we did a
They've
walk
got
around.
They've got like a dumpster or
Yeah.
like barricade wall.
They were looking for something to help with it, like, cause they're getting tagged left and right, so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that there's anything over there that makes sense, but it's a function of like, how do you know, sort of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
PR. But yeah, we walked around that way and we were looking for the tags even, and we couldn't find what anybody was talking about.
Oh, probably a picture somewhere.
Okay. But yes, you're right.
Like, the breezeway totally makes sense, cause it goes to our civic space, and then for the things that are 100% owned by Carmel. Like, if they can't pony up some money. You know, then it's a huge ask that, you know, everybody puts it.
I'm on board. And we can ask the tenants as well.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point.
You'd still have to have Carmel's permission
Yes. The permission comes from the owner, but the tenants,
if they
And-
want to pay.
and Leah, you had said in here something about arranging the selection committee. Typically, who is that? Us? You guys?
Yeah, a combination. You don't want to too huge of a group, but yeah, at least 1 or 2 people from your group would be great. I mean, I don't think you want to start getting one person from each business or anything like that. I
That
think it needs to be understood with the businesses that they don't get to decide what the mural is.
Right, that is what I was hinting at, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also nice to have an artist, like an artist maybe that has participated in the mural festivals in the past, sort of a different perspective to add to the mix. But that's something we can decide together.
It's pretty fun. It's one of the first things I did when I joined the committee is, some of these selection committees, and that's a good part of the job. Okay, other questions, comments, thoughts from anybody?
How would we approach Carmel? Who would do that?
So we will kind of make the introductions with the appropriate people, introduce them to Leah. And then in the proposal, Leah would lead those negotiations with the whole Carmel representatives.
Okay. And if Carmel is a no on cost sharing, what does that do to our festival?
Smaller.
Worth it?
If anything, it's just gonna make Carmel feel bad that they didn't participate.
I think it also could be thought of as a teaser. So as we walked around, 27 is gonna be a big end of the year. Once the food hall's open, they designated a mural site specifically for cats. The new hotel has a designated mural site, so I think it opens conversations, it entices people. It may not be, huge, amazing and glamorous. But I still think it could be great.
Definitely would get the ball
It
rolling.
gets the ball rolling, it gets people excited, it might open the avenues for sponsorships. And more contributions, 2 years from now, when we do it again.
And I think we still probably do the breezeway. And if we open up more of the benches, we still get to be mixed in with the street fair that's going on, right? There's still.
Absolutely. And you guys had also mentioned, fillers and just doing panels as fillers. If.
That you would
felt
put
like there-
somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah, around town, other town sites, if there wasn't enough
You said you wanted panels.
approved
Yeah.
sites.
Chris maybe wants some panels.
Oh, you mean a dog tag? Or you mean like a
I don't
general?
know, you said you had a property that you.
We just talked, we talked about setting up big panels so that they
Yeah.
could go somewhere else, but be created on site, yeah, downtown.
Unfortunately, we are unincorporated Boulder County. We're not even part of the town of Superior.
And unincorporated Boulder has a whole different set of rules.
Which is why I want the town to annex us. Because we also fall into unincorporated Boulder County minimum wage law,
Ooh,
Yeah,
which is by 2030 is gonna be brutal.
yeah, that's really good.
Okay, so am I hearing, Work Stable needs to pay for themselves or not at all? Carmel needs to, something, or they get cut. And then at the end of the day, we ask the town to cover the shortfall with an estimate that is in the total of. We're estimating zero, but I suppose with the cost share falling through, there's potential for some $10,000 or $15,000 maybe. I think that's pretty strong.
but there is not anything in the 2026 budget for that, is that correct?
I,
I don't think there is,
maybe not.
just an FYI,
Right, okay, yeah.
so it would have to be found.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
And the board made me ask for the Mural Fest, so it's sort of funded ask.
And we are helping, we're doing.
I'm just wondering, it could come up.
Yeah,
Well, I think it should, because it's got to
Yeah.
pay for it.
well, and if it comes up, because you guys still have more funds in your various caps.
In the public art
Yeah, if we could
acquisition.
just give up on buying art if we wanted it that bad.
Or buy less art.
But that's all right.
If that were to come up. Just throwing it out there.
The event fee, the 12K, when would that be payable?
We can talk about that. We definitely would need a deposit to kind of get started on the. It could be like a 50-50, 50% upfront. And then I was wondering how you anticipate the rest of the budget, like, will we be handling that? Will that be sort of like structured like a grant for us to manage, to pay out all of the expenses, which then we would report back to you, or how do you?
I would imagine we would do the 50% and then invoice from there, right? What do you think? I think it depends on what it is.
Like for artist fees, equipment rentals, stipends, those three categories.
Gotcha.
You don't wanna have to write every check.
No.
for every-
Yeah, no, I think the idea was we would just dump everything into your hands and let
Yeah,
you manage it all.
so all of those expense items, we usually pay artists upfront,
Gotcha.
again, same 50%, so we need to figure out that payment schedule too, but. That could be a little bit later in the year.
Like 6 months before the event or less than that?
I would think,
Yeah, I wanna go back to the schedule that I put on here.
I mean, if we have, if the budget gets approved,
The money is gonna be somewhere right now. I don't think
It's
we have to
available.
worry about
Yeah.
payment plan. Yeah, it'll be accessible.
No, I just think in terms of cash flows, like when the money goes out and how much traction could we get with this initial deposit to get things rolling and then get attention and then.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with the cost share. So if you look at the timeline here, I have February is that we have our final agreement, our MOU, or whatever that looks like. And our budget, and I have March dedicated to the wall partner negotiations and securement, so that would be the timeline where we would need to get them on board and budgeted and funded. And then if not, then we move on to our Plan B walls. Just town walls, town funded walls, and then. So that gives us the next 2 months to kind of work on those details that we can kind of fine tune what we're talking about today. And I think that gives a really clear timeline. And then April, we launch the call for artists, and the artists are selected. I would say when you're looking at the June would probably be when I wanna, we get the final designs and final approval in that summer schedule. And then once those designs are approved, we wanna give the artists a deposit so they can start making arrangements to come start painting.
What about like the advertising and marketing cost and
Yeah,
how would that be
that
used?
still needs to be, I think, discussed a little bit more because I'm not real clear on who's doing what. So we want to, convene with your marketing team and kind of figure out that marketing schedule plan looks like.
So I feel like if we're a yes on it and it gets approved and if we can start getting some of that marketing done like right away to build awareness for what's coming, that gives us a lot more momentum on the other tasks.
Well, as soon as it's approved, I already have plans to just join the marketing, any marketing around the fall festival and the summer market series will promote the mural festival as well. So that'll get up right away.
Yeah, so around the time that we'll launch the artist call, we'll probably launch a press release and start doing some initial early, press outreach of, some stories, what's happening here and kind of develop that theme. There's going to be a theme and talk about the partnership and kind of just come up with our overall plan for that. But yeah, I would say the earlier the better,
Yeah. Great.
Feel pretty good about it. Yeah, excellent. Sounds awesome.
Okay, so we'll rework this as discussed, so we can have this proposal to take to council on the 9th.
Do you think you'll have a chance to talk to Carmel before then?
So that was the plan. As soon as tonight's discussion went through, Martin and I are gonna go ahead and approach Carmel and give them a heads up, so they're not blindsided and they hear about this through the grapevine. So we'll do that in the next week, next month. Let Carmel know that this is coming. We can kind of start filling them out now. And then that's hard.
Well, they've got other ambitions around the town, right? So
They wanted to develop a residential space really close to Dogtown.
yeah,
Make it under a condition.
Anything?
You can't do that.
That's something I did not hear that.
You can suggest it, but it's gonna go.
do you feel that they need to vote or say or do anything money wise, or is there anything we need from CAPS since we would be going to council before their next meetings?
Cap's already approved the 25. That was already voted on, right? Yeah, so.
Is there anything else you can think of? Do you have any other questions for Cavs? While we've got you here.
Or instruction.
If we could just get like a modified budget. In
Yeah.
case that Carmel doesn't come through and we are now focused on the 8 benches. And what is the total budget then?
Yeah, I've got the SPC enough to put together, I have a couple scenarios going here, just town walls, Carmel by themselves walls and cost. So if you all wanna let me know what would be the best format for Carmel if needed at this stage. For council meeting, I can kind of modify what I've put together and update that. I'll try to get some of those frame costs and panel costs by next week. I don't know. I'll have that 100%, but, I can update that so you have a more detailed cost. on
Both
those
of
things.
you?
But yeah, no, I think that's good.
I think it's safe to say we're gonna move forward in some capacity. So then should CAP start thinking about if they want a theme and moving on, go ahead and move on to the next steps and start prepping for the artist call.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would like to have an agreement with you, in place and kind of have that deposit in place, and then we can set up a time to meet with you to go over theme and any other details that we want to include in the artist call, selection committee, those kinds of next steps, marketing, but you really.
In the spirit of that, the roster that you have, does it include like, phone images? So is it a larger, like maybe a PDF or something that could be shared with this group so they could at least peruse it ahead of time or?
We
Anything like
don't
that?
have one with thumbnails like that, no, are you talking about the call that we have out now, that's our call?
Or just like a Colorado roster?
Yeah, I mean, we have one, it's not, it's just a spreadsheet with links, it's kind of funky to navigate, but we would do a specific call for artists for this particular mural festival. And then organize it so the selection committee could see all the images and we kind of have a whole.
I know that it was discussed that there was an option to either do a call or potentially look at a roster and like handpick.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that this group
That
should
you're interested in.
consider as well.
Okay,
The only reason why I bring it up is I remember discussing it, I think last fall, and it also would be a big difference as far as time, because a call obviously can take months, whereas if you all just reviewed a roster, you could literally handpick who you want.
you could, it's just our roster is a little bit more expansive than I think, so we're gonna have to weed through it quite a bit, because there's artists that are multimedia artists and photographers and other kinds of artists on there. What I like about doing a call, and I did put this in the schedule, and I think it's accessible if we stay on track. What I like about the call is the people that are applying really want to participate. They know about it, they understand it, they're excited to. Whereas if you're going off of a roster that's a lot more broad, there's just gonna be a lot more like, hey, we're doing this, are you interested?
Yeah,
We want you to.
they may not even have time on their schedule.
Yeah, so that's the benefit of doing a call, that these artists are excited and interested in participating, and so you just have that kind of, and they know what the parameters are, so we kind of like lay out the whole thing on the front end. So I like that, I think we can do that, I think that's better, in my opinion, if we can manage that and stay on schedule.
So would you do like an individual call for every bench type thing?
No,
Or
like
like,
be one call,
okay,
we get one pool of artists. Then we select however many wall sites we have. We have 5 walls, we have 10 walls, we select 5 artists or 10 artists. And then we play matchmaker on who gets what wall.
okay.
So they don't really know what sort of fee schedule they're even responding to, because the wall could be a bench or it could be sports table.
That's true, but in the call, Yes, but that's what we would put in the policy, like, hey, there's a range of walls. From this small to this big, and, you know, if there's. You know, we can tell by the artist's work, like what experience they have and what might be the best fit, but yeah, they don't know until. They hear from us that they've been selected, and then at that point, we can say you've been selected for kind of this range of wall, and this is the range of stipend that you could expect, and then. Kind of go from there.
Seems complicated.
I
It's not our
just
job.
wanted to say thank you to all of you for doing all of this legwork that I just can't stand.
So good.
That's.
Is there anything else anyone can think of? I kind of quietly asked if Liza and or Andrew can attend February 9th, just because it's always good to have someone from CAPS at council.
Should work for me.
Do we wanna? You want me to attend that as well, or is that? No.
I think we should have,
And like with anything, it'd be great that my only hesitation is you may come and then they have no questions for you, in which
Yeah.
case it's like, wow, that was a lot of nothing. You know, these are 30 questions.
Unless
Yeah,
there's the
Zoom, yeah,
option.
Zoom is always actually.
I also don't live but 10 minutes from here, so it's probably, but yeah, okay, well, let me know, I'm happy to do that either way.
I think the board would love to meet with you because, you know, I think the board is the one that asked for this type of event. So I think it'd be great to have you if you can make it.
Okay, yeah, I'll put it on my schedule.
We'll probably just make up questions just to, you know, and send you.
Mark's always good for that.
And what time is that on February 9th?
We'll start at 6.
6,
Would
but
this be consent or would be right after the consent?
after, so 7, maybe
6:45, 7?
7:30 or 7 something.
we can give you exact time, like at least 4 days.
Would it be coming for a vote or just a presentation?
To the council, because
Yeah.
we're asking for money perhaps,
Okay, so you-
if there's a shortfall.
Okay, all right, so yeah, then it'd be,
There would be a budget discussion.
okay, so then it would be after any presentations or anything else, so, okay, yeah. No idea.
Okay, I put a hold on there, you know. Okay,
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
is everybody, things like that.
Okay.
I think we should up the lights. It's, I'm looking at our screen, it's like we all look like we're sitting in the dark. Ooh.
Turns a week now.
Anytime now. Okay, so
Oh, my goodness.
done with Euro Festival, at least for now. Let's move on to then leadership.
Okay. So for my normal, I have paper ballots, or you can just have a conversation. And but, however you wanna do it.
Well, let's definitely start with a conversation. So we, you know, we need to choose chair, vice chair, and secretary. My term ends in the summer. I had decided that I wasn't gonna re-up because I have a new job and stuff at home and stuff. But this year, we've got so much fun stuff going on.
We can't.
I can't leave 2026, but I actually do think I will retire early next year. So, but if you guys would like me to stay on as leadership for 26, I'm willing to do that. So that is where I stand.
Please do.
But which of you is gonna be my vice chair?
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does the vice chair do?
Backup.
Yeah, back
I
up.
mean, like, who does the agenda? You
Both,
both?
both.
You get CC'd on everything. Yeah, JG will start looping the vice into everything, including all of the agenda planning and doing the summaries and the minutes and stuff. And then we just kind of loosely divide up, you know, legwork and that kind of thing.
And then like, you know, like bigger overarching updates that could impact or, you know, end up being on the agenda, you know, just kind of bigger updates that are kind of on the staff side, you know, those are things that I would sometimes chair. share with leadership for this committee or even historic. It's.
Back up if I can't make it to the council meeting.
I mean, I would be your vice chair if somebody wants to be the secretary, so I'm already the secretary.
You can't have two jobs.
You can't have the judge.
You don't have to have a secretary.
Really? Well, what am I
Not
doing?
all the committees do.
But those that don't have a designated secretary, they rotate no matter.
Yeah, share the love, yes.
The only person who
I
comes in
can do it.
You can do the secretary. Oops.
I think so.
I would love that. Okay. So then I will nominate Artis as our candidate for secretary, and I will nominate Liza as the vice chair. You good?
Yeah.
You're not gonna fight, you're not gonna arm wrestle either for it?
Come on, come on.
You'd make a great vice chair.
Oh, I thought you said a great secretary.
No, I wouldn't, we wouldn't do it.
I'm not gonna arm wrestle anybody.
I'm gonna nominate myself, so if you guys want me to do it. you're gonna-
Okay, Andrew, you were nominated officially, Liza.
Let's start at the top. Let's start with chair. Get a motion for that.
I move that we elect Andrew chair
For the year of.
for the year of 2026.
Specify this. Good work, Andrew. Good work.
You do such a.
Can I second? I'll second that.
Second myself.
Alright.
Okay, vice chair.
I move to nominate Liza as the vice chair for 2026.
I'll second that.
And for secretaries.
And I will move to nominate Artis as the secretary for 2026. Alright. And seeing as how we only have one candidate for each role, we can probably just
Yeah.
do a show of hands or something for these. Alright, shall we vote?
We just approve the whole slate.
Yeah.
There's like 3 different motions at the same time, so.
Yeah, that's true, we moved without voting, so yeah, we just.
I move that we approve the whole slate.
All in favor,
A motion on top of three motion.
unanimously approved by our barely majority.
All right.
Okay,
Unanimously approved by the people who care to show up.
We're everybody right now, aren't we?
No, Stephanie.
Wait, who seconded
Oh,
that?
I forgot. It's the results.
seconded.
The motion to approve? Oh, Chris, motion to approve. Artist, seconded?
No, Sherry second.
Oh, Sherry, good. Sherry, you need to do that.
Didn't you?
We're an hour in and we're through number 2.
Yes. But the good news is that the mural festival is on this agenda like 3 times, so we can probably just skip it.
Okay.
All right.
Unless there's just other things. like discussed.
Yeah. Okay,
Well, that was,
so let's move on to staff updates. JG, got a lot to say.
so I just wanted you to see how your budget from last year closed out. That's on the back, the balances on the two accounts.
I need one.
Need one too.
Yep, there are.
And since we have Michaela here, I wanted to point out the projector and screen purchase that happened in December. It was discussed in November in here. There was an approval for up to 2,000. And so I'll let Michaela finish this, but basically in a nutshell, instead of buying just a smaller unit, there's always been a plan for something bigger and better at Civic Space. So I'll let Michaela take it from here.
So essentially, we were able to get a 12 by 12 wall mounted screen, and a super fun industrial projector, within our Civic Space budget. So we did not have to use, cap budget to go towards it.
Oh, I thought that there was the 2,000 that was.
Nope.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
wait a minute.
You can sort
That
that.
receipt you sent me had.
Oh, wait, no, we did. I apologize, you were absolutely.
I was like, wait a
Yes,
minute.
we did. Yes, we did, because then we are, installing the projector into the ceiling and wall mounting, so all of the installations threw us over. I apologize, you were correct.
Well done.
That-
We're delighted to have paid for that instead of a rental that we didn't get to use.
That said, for tomorrow, it's not installed yet.
Yeah,
Okay,
the installation process was a way bigger undertaking than I had expected. So it will not be up for tomorrow, but it will be up for the rest of the series.
what do we have for tomorrow?
We have a full rental system for tomorrow, what we would have had for the December one.
Okay. We did get a request from Janique, if she can show up for a tech check at some point tomorrow afternoon.
But we will not have it in-house. Oh, and well,
Even the.
yeah, we'll
I
have
don't
it
think the
in,
tech is coming until 5, right?
no, he'll be in, or she'll be in by 4,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I'll tell her to show up around that, or
4:30.
4:45,
Yeah,
I'll be there by 5.
okay,
So if you want me to meet with her, I can, and then cross over into the tech room stuff, if you'd like.
sure,
Just text me if there's anything I
I
need
mean,
to know.
it's being run by a professional.
Okay.
So,
sure, and we also have a microphone,
yep, we have a full sound system.
So, and speaking of which, are you gonna start, you're gonna start?
Yeah.
Open comments, introduce, or-
I'm probably, what I was planning on doing was just doing like a brief introduction before the film rolls. Talking about the series, what we're doing, introducing her as being available after the show, after the screening. We're also gonna get a local librarian. She's coming down from Weld County. She moved here from Florida because of all the censorship issues happening with libraries in Florida. So she'll be a guest panelist as well.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. When is she, how are you running the panel?
Not totally sure how to run it, other than what I would like to do is just bring the whole filmmaking, storytelling process a little closer to home for all the audience, talking about how the film production came together, what they're doing regionally and nationally as with their screenings, what the Sundance event was like, just sort of talking about what it's like to be a filmmaker in today's indie film world.
so maybe we can just, after the film ends, just get them both out in front, like
Yeah.
right away with mics, and then just start the Q&A right away.
Yeah, so we'll
It might be
probably,
good to have a third mic, and I can run to make sure that we're getting questions on mic. Otherwise, people can't hear the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
And then just run it that way.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that,
That's
so
fine.
we aren't set up to have a table and all the other.
so we would probably do like call it a 15 to 20 minute discussion with Janique and Michelle, talking about library issues, the film, et cetera, and then open it to audience Q&A after that.
Sounds good. And I'll have flyers tomorrow. I think that's it.
Okay. See, we're knocking these things out from down below.
We don't.
It's gonna go faster and faster, Chris, don't worry.
Yeah.
So the discretionary budget, the 2,000 goes back to the city.
It just rolls back into the, so,
Well, speaking of the 2,000, we never did a vote of approval on Janique.
That is why I needed to move this down into the discussion.
Okay,
yes, so to your question, so, the bigger orange budget is capital CIP, capital improvement, and then the green one is general fund, but yes,
I
any
got that.
excess rolls
Okay.
back in because funds are not able to roll over into a next year.
Can we get the 2,000 for the Miracle Festival?
No, they don't roll.
No, I know they don't roll, but maybe the city.
Oh.
Oh, so what happens is, there's always over expenditures in other
No, I know,
areas, so
I know.
it'll probably be applied elsewhere. But that's good idea.
Thought.
Yeah. So I think we kind of touched on the film series projection equipment and such. I think we're good to go there. I think there was rental costs for film, for the equipment, right?
Unfortunately for the December one, because we weren't able to make the call to cancel, in their cancellation.
And then I think Allison invoiced me for caps for tomorrow as well, for that rental.
Yes.
And
Clause and contract.
We canceled for when?
We can
We can't fully.
get full refund,
so,
even if
so
an
just so
hour
everyone,
before.
I know we're not looking at the 2026 budget, but I did bring a couple worksheets, but you know, there's already been expenses put towards the 2026 budget, including the rental of tomorrow's equipment. So we did have to rent one more time, but now that we purchased, that we won't see any equipment rental anymore, but we will see tech charges. Correct?
Ideally, no. The system should be
Plug and play
plug and play.
with that. Oh,
Don't worry
that's
about it.
fantastic.
We've got some skilled GSAs.
So what
that-
about, like, in a situation like tomorrow with speakers, are GSAs trained on the sound system to the next?
If we can get the right one staff. So as much notice as absolutely possible, if we're gonna add any of those components would be great. It's not all the GSAs can run the sound system.
So I think that's actually a good topic that I think, you know, I know because of the holidays and the new year and all of that, this came on pretty quickly. And then the added components came on, but I think to Michaela's point, the more we know, the further ahead of time, the better for planning.
What are you referencing though, knowing ahead of time?
Just like, well,
Speakers.
speakers
Oh.
and, you know, things like that, because I think initially we thought it was just movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, but if we're having added components, the sooner we know, and I know like this was tough because it was the holidays, they came on really fast.
Yeah.
But I think for any of the future ones, if you have added programming, the sooner we know, the better, because there's a lot of staff, additional staff that have to be on board to support that.
Yeah.
Can we try to do the Christmas one next December, since we missed it?
Yeah, but we bought the rights for it.
Oh, okay, so that could maybe keep bumped.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Although the date that was scheduled for if we did the December film would have to be changed because the facilities won't be open at Christmas.
And that reminds me, thank you for saying that. You, in one email, it's been a while, you actually picked out a couple of those dates that may not work.
I think the November and the December ones,
Wasn't there one in
Facilities.
July or wasn't there like a summer one in there?
I think so. Let me pull up my master.
While she's doing that, I'll just pop down to C just to save time. When you walked in, you probably saw some construction going on. That is going to be a new front desk. So basically, it won't be right as you walk in, it's gonna be a larger, more significant sort of front desk. So that construction's gonna be going on for a little while. But even more than that, we've got just major building structure drainage issues here. You may not have noticed it, but like half of our staff offices are crumbling. And in the big room in the very back, there's cracks and you can see sunlight through brick walls. So I think that's gonna start in May. And I think it's a May, June, July, August, something like that. I just need you to be aware that we might have to shift locations, and it could be town hall, it could be civic space. It could end up staying here, we may not be impacted, so just know that that could happen. Did you find that?
So it's just the November, because it'd be November 27th and then December 25th.
So ironically, I think those dates fall the day before the CAPS meetings that we always have to move every November and December. So maybe next month we could put that on the agenda and change both. Would that work?
So we'll just leave those off the flyer for now.
I only did the films that we've secured, so I just did spring.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll just maybe keep popping them out in chunks. I mean, and it can be that we could update the website to have more, but I know that we just went with the ones that we've secured thus far.
And we'd like to get them out, I assume, on Hellsphere and stuff in the calendar and that kind of thing. So the more we can find them out.
So, yeah, and speaking of hello, I have content due to them on Monday, and I'm gonna include. I think we'll probably include all the way through fall at least, so we won't have. I think we'll do first or second, and third quarter movies. Okay, does that sound good? McCaslin mural lighting. So there's two different mural sites, McCaslin mural lighting and then the Rock Creek Tunnel repair. So McCaslin mural lighting finally has been separated from town hall, and it has its own lighting and it's on 24/7. So we are good to
It
go.
looks awesome. Like, just have that one lit up, it's just so cool.
And no more duct tape over light sensors, anything like that. The Rock Creek Parkway Tunnel repair, unfortunately, this has been majorly delayed. And a lot of that is because of complications since the project was grant funded. And so there were just so many hoops and things to jump through in order to come back for repair work, but it's finally been rectified and the contractor should be out within a few weeks to get that going. And then once that work is done, we'll assess if there's been damage to the mural, and if so, we'll get the artist back out. And I feel like if there's any repair to be done, that would come out of art history maintenance budget. Okay. You wanted me to mention Coyote Hawk and Silencio purchases, and that's on the budget, and that went very smoothly, everything's fine there, so I did alert town to make sure that the insurance coverage is now reflecting that those are town-owned collection pieces. I did get, so it's standard, just so you all know that anytime we do go through with a purchase of artwork, unlike a loan, a purchase you always get a maintenance plan, and any other structural or engineering information from the artist, so we have that all in file.
When you say went smoothly, you mean the town council approved it, or what do you mean? I'm just trying to write
That was last year.
That was, yeah, so that was last year, council approved, and then, just got agreements, contracts, payments, everything went smoothly.
So
no
now-
hiccups,
now
and I
we
got
know-
maintenance plans, so.
Now that we own those, we had talked about moving Coyote Hawk, and we're not gonna get to that tonight, but there was a, down here in 6B, right? One of the things we wanna do this year is be deliberate about the ARTery, where we place pieces and what we acquire to add, and I think Coyote Hawk's gonna be part of that discussion, so we will get to that. It will probably not be tonight, but that is on the radar.
I think y'all wanted to add a conflict of interest conversation quick. I think being in the staff update, I think that's a good place just to start. I might call on you, Michaela, just because of the guideline book, there's information in there. So maybe if we could share that, I don't know, I can pull it up on screen if you want me to, but then we could have a conversation about what that really means. What does it really mean? And like with examples. And I'm happy to share a couple thoughts too, and that, or if you want to start with questions, or do you want to start with guideline information?
Big guidelines probably.
It'll take me minutes to pull up. I did not pull that up, not because I didn't know. Get that prepared, so. Do you wanna,
I can, let me read it first.
yeah, I'll pull it up.
The objective of the town is that appointed advisory members avoid any conflicts of interest. A member should carefully consider for him or herself avoiding even the appearance of impropriety. Where a conflict exists, and even in situations where the member is unsure an actual conflict exists, but there is seeming impropriety present, the town requires the following procedures to be followed. Immediately and publicly disclose the nature and extent of the conflict. Do not participate in any discussion or decision regarding the action before the advisory committee. Leave the room. In addition, do not participate in discussions with other members of the advisory committee or town staff regarding the matter. Do not attempt to influence the matter publicly or privately. These rules apply whether interest is direct or related to the interest of an immediate relation of the member. What is considered a conflict? Key terms in answering this are whether there is an interest. The definition of an interest is pecuniary, propriety, or commercial benefit, or any other benefit, the primary significance of which is economic gain or the avoidance of economic loss. Your interest extends to relatives and any business in which you are an officer, director, or employee, or own more than 1% of outstanding shares. And then it goes on to gifts. Yeah, that was a lot of words. Is it just a general question? Is it related to something specific?
Oh, are you asking me?
I just,
I brought it up when I came in because it seems as though somebody insinuated that I have a conflict of interest being the owner of the Arts Off Center and a member of CAPS. And the person said they wanted to be a member of CAPS, but they were told they couldn't apply to it because they had a conflict of interest. They also have a business. So I thought that did not occur to me that would have a conflict of interest, but say somebody's saying you're being favored because you're on CAPS and you have a business. That was the conflict. I'm not really talking about money, although as our business, we are applying or whatever the business incentives for new business in downtown, you know, which would involve reimbursement for a sign. So if somebody could say, oh, you got that because people know you have a business in downtown and you're on CAPS, is that a conflict? I mean, I'm basically saying, should I just resign? Should I just resign? Just to avoid any appearance of that, or what actually would be the conflict of interest that I had? Because
I think
other than I'm on the board and they're not, and I applied, you know, for it, and I don't know if they did or not.
if you're using your position on CAPS to influence so you can monetary, financially gain, support your business, I mean, those are direct conflicts of interest. As long as I've been overseeing advisory committees, I've never had a conversation with someone that said, you cannot apply, you cannot join the committee because you have a business that is in similar realms of that committee. If that was the case, we wouldn't have anybody on it. Yeah, so that is not a direct conflict of interest.
And we're not voting on your signage grant. So
No,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, I think, you know, if you went to council and said, I am a member of CAPS, you need to give me this grant, you're crossing the line.
I would never.
even something like, trying to encourage. A mural festival downtown where it would draw business to the entire region, I think, right? I mean, that's where business is, that's.
Yeah, so if one of those benches, if one of those benches was in front of my door, that would be a conflict of interest to say, yeah, let's do that one. That occurred to me, but there isn't a bench in front of our
I
door,
think
so.
if you're ever uncomfortable or feel like, like it could come up in some other way, you could just opt
Just abstain from.
abstain.
Yeah, the only thing I could really think of is things that are going on downtown. That might, yeah,
But we're not doing.
but it's
it-
not on my
we're not
wall,
doing
it's
it
not
for
in
you,
front
we're
of,
doing it for the entire community.
Right.
And the entire district.
and I'm not mentioning to anybody that I was on cabs.
Well, and the mural festival came to fruition before you even moved down.
Right.
It's true.
So.
And we'll just say, they
Good
shouldn't
night.
put Gary's the workshop here on your bench, whatever. I mean, that was the plan, but.
But, like another example that could come up, like amongst caps, because, half of you are artists with businesses or the capability or capacity to teach workshops.
Mhm.
I think, that's a scenario where there could be conflict if, we're using town resources to get residents in the room. And then we have access to email addresses, and then we're using those email addresses to teach workshops elsewhere.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That are where there's a charge and, you're mixing that pool of resident names and private information,
Yeah,
things like that. That's definitely a conflict of interest.
yeah, well, I've decided to not do that.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
definitely things we have to keep,
I
because
could,
when
but I could do a
people-
workshop in my business that doesn't involve like the civic space or now I'm feeling like if I wanted to do a workshop at the civic space that as the Arts Off Center, that wouldn't be a good thing to do. If somebody's
I
gonna,
think-
if somebody's gonna push.
You wouldn't want to run a play workshop that we paid for and then tell all those people, come to my business or my next workshop or whatever, and I think that's maybe.
Yeah,
That
that's
would
more
be
what
the
I mean,
conflict,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Where people are signing up for a workshop that's a town-run event,
Mhm.
and then you're contacting them again separately saying, oh, okay.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's a small town, right? It's like. Half
And I
the
think
people
we're
you
not-
just
we're not-
But
know.
we don't have
We're not doing it.
permission.
Right,
But not
no,
through
that.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's like we
but
all know each
we do, but technically, somebody could complain back to the town to
Right.
say, I did not give permission to be contacted,
Right.
to be advertised to towards this other workshop, blah, 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 things like that, because, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other examples that you can think of that you would wanna talk about as a group?
I think artists, like, if we have an artist apply to be one of the muralists because the town's paying for it, I think that would be a potential conflict of interest.
And I did do 2 prairie dogs, but that was before I was on top, so.
You're in the clear.
I'm like, I don't sleep, these are the things I think of at 3 a.m. when I
You will
can't
sleep
sleep.
tonight.
I'm gonna have to resign from the caps because
And-
somebody suggested this.
You should feel comfortable, Sherry, if something comes up in this room and you're like, wait, guys, should I remove myself real quick? Do you feel like there's a
Just
conflict of
question.
interest with me? Just ask the group,
Okay.
and they can help you make that decision.
Easiest way to go.
Yeah.
And, thank you for bringing it up. I think it's good that we have this conversation and know that it's open for discussion all the time.
Yeah, okay, great. I appreciate the time too.
Okay, great.
Are you bummed that you don't have to resign?
Dang it. Yeah, here's my letter.
Wow.
Well, is there anything else that I know we have an agenda. Are there any other staff info that you have, Michaela? Okay.
So you let me share it other than, right, maybe we get permission. All right, so, general updates and debriefing, we'll move on. Most of these updates, JD, you're gonna have to speak to again for the most part, but just a real quick write-in, I wanted to show this, the town just sent out the draft, comprehensive plan, the master plan, right, so they, yeah. So the town's been working on this by way of the planning commission and the, contractors that they've hired, and been working on this for like a year to update the aging comp plan. And one of the things they did was to survey us in a number of ways, right? So they talk about engagement efforts included open houses, surveys, stakeholder conversations, online activities, speaker series, pop-up events, ongoing feedback. And what I noticed when I skimmed this, right, is these are the top themes from engagement, love of superior, rooted in nature and character and all these things. But one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever that are here is this one, which struck me. Arts and culture are emerging priorities. And this is what residents said. Residents support incorporating art into new development, and there's strong interest in making Superior an arts and cultural destination through music venues, festivals, and art installations that enhance community identity. And I just wanted to bring that up because I know in a large part that's because of us, right? I mean, that's, they came and they talked to us, but it's kind of because of the noise that we've been making and the success that we've been having, that the residents like that about this town. We want us to keep it involved.
Yeah, we were talking about my kids, how like Erie has a really cute downtown, Louisville, and Lafayette, and Superior doesn't have that. And I was like, we're working on it. So like,
But it's a different look, cause those are older.
older, so we're
Those
just
have
gonna
a
go for
different
quirky and
feel
colorful.
Than our downtown.
We don't have a historic,
Right.
old downtown Main
Right.
Street.
But we could still have a fun, quirky, artsy
Yeah,
downtown, hopefully.
Yeah, Lafayette,
Going for it.
Lafayette's older, but it's got a lot of quirky art,
Yeah.
and that kind of helps,
Yeah.
provide.
All right, so let's get through a couple of these things. The March Fire Remembrance Project is moving along. Most of what's happened has happened behind the scenes that JJ's been working on with Jordan and some others. So you want to just give us a quick.
Yeah, so, I think last we left off, the architecture firms, were, presented to council. And then from there, Leslie's been doing some work with Boulder County Open Space to, get approval for the site. I've been working with them to get exact coordinates so we can do soil sampling and things of that nature. So those are all in the works. And then our next really big, I sort of feel like there's 3 big buckets there, sort of the work with the site, work with Boulder County, and then the soon to be upcoming fundraising conversation with, starting with just the subcommittee and, the architects, just to kind of hear their ideas and what their thoughts are, so that we at least have a place that, what we know, what we're working with and what we need to be doing, what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do, things of that nature. And I think once that's established, then we'll get, a larger table. And I think, that would involve Superior Rising, town administration, specifically, the accounting and finance department, probably communications department, just it'll eventually just grow and grow so that we keep the momentum going. on this.
Snowball.
So we're, the subcommittee will be meeting, it's looking like February 2nd. I sent a message to them just to double confirm that they can meet on that date. So that'll be the primary topic is, what does fundraising even look like? So that's kind of where things are.
And then mural video, so we've hired a photographer, videographer for the Rock Creek Parkway mural. That's been taking some time. JG's been iterating back and forth. JG watched it. There was no community involvement really in the video. And so she pressed back a little, so they're gonna add that, I'll say something. I found a community member willing to speak, I've actually asked the mayor if he's willing to say a few words, and he agreed to that. So we'll do that, and I'm in the process of coordinating with the four of us to try to get everybody in the same place at the same time to get that footage so that they can rework the video.
And so, yes, it's been a long delay on this video, but I pushed back because CAPS paid a lot of money for this video, and part of that was because it was gonna require the videographer to make multiple visits, partly because of that community engagement part that ended up getting canceled. But I did circle back and say, since that got canceled, I would like you for sure then to get get some testimonials and comments or something, and it didn't happen. So that's why we're circling back on that. So hope that's okay, but the video was wonderful, but it just was a little flat because there was just nothing in there except just the artists. So thank you for making that happen, and
Yeah,
did you
thanks.
guys get a date?
No, I sent out a, hey, when everybody available, and kind of crickets, so I'll follow up. Great. Yeah, and I'm excited to hear about your signage.
Yeah, so, I just wanted to show the real deal, because I finally got these signs, we've had them for a while, but it was right before the holidays. So these are the signs, and so the placards will go on this area. It'll probably be, I know it sounds cheesy, but kind of a plastic plaque, like that'll be engraved, and the QR code, and it will be adhered on, super duper tight, heavy duty adherence. And then, bolted into the ground, so either into existing concrete or a mini pad that we would pour. So we just need to, I know we've gone over the list a couple times, we probably need to go over it again. But most likely for the art, we would go with the title, the artist, the medium, the year of installation, and then a QR code that goes to the website. And so we did 15 of these. 2 of them have the Lions Club logo, which is an organization that has donated heavily to the Historic Commission. So we'll have 2 signs just to acknowledge their donations, and then the remaining 13 will be split between CAPS and Historic. CAPS having 7, I think.
Dumb logistics question, but the plaques themselves, they said they're plastic.
Yeah, acrylic.
Or
Do you know if?
aluminum, I'm not sure what it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's a big difference, because I was gonna ask if it's UV stable.
It's gonna fail.
Whatever I need to get, I will,
Okay.
yeah. Because or scratched or damaged just weather-wise, with the wind and.
But the Lafayette folks that have permanent mounts, just consider the plaques disposable. They're inexpensive, and they pry them off and replace them periodically. I mean, largely that's for the revolving art, right? So they're meant to be changed, right? The stands are durable and the signs get replaced.
Just don't want the sun ruining the
Right, yeah.
plastic.
Yeah.
But, if it does, I can just replace it. Cause that's how, these are an investment. And, I kind of see this as like hopefully getting these installed by this spring. And then just going into round 2 and getting more done and just hopefully, eventually getting the whole public art collection and then a lot of the collection on the historic side.
What is the red? Is that a sticker or is that?
It's an enamel paint. That's been like heat set. It's like, I worried too at first. I thought it was a sticker. It looks like vinyl, but it's an enamel. So, yeah, that's where things are. So, Historic is taking a little longer on their list. So I think we should probably just get started on the CAP side. I was gonna hope to do it all together. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
I would recommend, if it's, one thing is as good as another, I would recommend powder coated aluminum instead of plastic. It
Okay,
just looks cleaner and tighter,
okay.
and that it would match the stand, the quality of the stands a little bit better, I think.
I will ask my sign company if they have it. I'm sure they do. Okay,
All right.
so it's gonna be a long, slower kind of process, but it is underway.
Thank you, that was great. Debriefing, we've got the work plan approval at the council meeting. I was there, it was on the consent agenda. I got to watch the property parkway update presentation. And then they were in a hurry.
The pool too.
The pool, yeah. And then the council was in a hurry to get to the Zaharias and just approve the consent agenda and.
Yeah, you're in there and we didn't give you a reason to talk.
Yep, so that's okay.
I thought for sure.
It was interesting stuff. I would listen to the Rocky Parkway thing.
Are we getting a circle? Don't know.
So briefly, we'll talk after.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Wait, Rock Creek Parkway
And
to,
Coal Creek,
that's ours.
that's our intersection.
They've asked them to split it out. Short story, they've asked them to split it out, so there's an option for not doing it. So that they'll be able to line item veto it if and when the pool overruns. Oh, shit. Yeah, so we're gonna have to go to the, anyway.
I get that,
I like round.
but the support will be good.
Yeah. Okay, upcoming events. We're in a good place here. So do we have anything to add to librarians coming tomorrow? We've talked about this. Any go backs?
No, I'm gonna have lunch with Janique tomorrow to go through like what our talk will be. I don't know if Michelle's gonna show up for that or not.
I'm excited.
Tentative start time, like 6:15-ish.
6, I mean, I hope we're gonna start relatively on time.
Okay.
I just don't know, we've got. I think the principal of Superior Elementary was promoting the film. We've got. An angry gang of wine moms promoting the film.
Apparently you did a great job promoting it while you were there.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know what to expect in terms of attendance. I hope we'll get everybody in by 6.
A few people emailed me about seating and I just said, did the first come, first serve and
yeah,
feel free to come early. Is all I said,
Okay. Will doors be open before 6?
Oh, yeah.
The building's open.
A couple days. And like I said, I'll be there at 5,
So
so.
show up at 5 and save seats.
We'll have
4th of
it
July.
set, I'll be there, I'm gonna have it set by like noon, just to get it done and out of the way.
Okay,
Um,
maybe some reserve seats for
VIP.
Janique and Michelle.
We want them off to the side maybe, because we could pull some kind of different chairs that are. We kind of did that with that ballet night. It was kind of nice to have the VIP special guests kind of off to the side at the front.
Sure.
Well, we are running the film closed caption, by the way, we have several requests come in.
Okay,
I think that's great.
Yeah, so I think obviously we'll try and do it for all the films, not all the films have the option. We'll just have to update the website as we go when it is or is not available.
and has your vendor already done a tech check on the streaming? To verify that the streaming?
Yep,
All right, great. And then the next upcoming event is the next film.
Yep, Porcelain War, which should be a really, really good movie. It's about artists in Ukraine who are using their art skills to help Ukraine win the war. So,
All right. Great. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing where the series goes this year. All right, work plan check-in. We got Mural Festival on here again. I think we discussed it pretty thoroughly, but what else? Anybody else got?
Is there anything else that maybe separate from the proposal? Is there anything that we want to discuss?
Nope.
Anything from you, Michaela, that you can think of event wise down the road, like? Anything?
I think we'll know a lot more, in February, once we take this and start discussions with Carmel. I think it's easy to add more. I mean, we have the whole civic space building. So if we feel like we're short on murals, I know Leo wasn't keen on the inside idea, but I think there's always still that option. And then I think the one thing we didn't touch on was the classes and all the fluffy, or not fluffy, but
Yeah,
the side stuff.
we were looking to cut budget, that crossed my mind too, we were looking to cut, and those were all add-ons, so.
So that could be a conversation with the board, just, you guys are trying to manage it to a number. If the board's willing to go with more, there's other things that we can add on.
Yeah.
Cause all of them sound like great,
Yeah,
but, it's a function of like, for year one, do you try to do all of it, or do you try to add that in the future?
I don't wanna open up a can of worms, but I'm going to. I think kind of in the spirit of SCFD funding and that application towards eligibility. And even if you are granted eligibility, then you have to separately apply for funds, so it's a massive, massive ordeal. But they're looking for educational programming, they're looking for things like workshops, hands-on, all age groups, all the things. And I'm just looking at that as an opportunity for a tie-in to help with that, because without it, really applying for that eligibility is sort of a moot point if we don't have it. If we're not doing those things, there's really nothing, there's no meat on the bones, basically. We have talked about that eligibility application and sort of leaning on a lot of what Historic Commission does, but it would be great if we're also doing a lot on the art side. So a lot of the workshops that were done like last year, great. But with this year, with the mural festival and the film series being kind of the bigger endeavors by CAPS, without any programming around it, those are not things that we can use towards eligibility application. So this could be a good opportunity to be thinking about what could arts and history do to support that, and or what could, community center, civic space staff, our programming staff be doing to maybe help with that as well. We don't want. We would just need to be we would need to be mindful about all and tying things in so that they make sense and are meaningful on paper and to residents and the community. So just keep that in mind. I don't think it's something that we would have to say no to because it doesn't align with your budget. I think there's ways around that.
yeah, and it's an interesting end around to the budget problem, right? Because our budget is capital improvement, and yet we're looking for seminars and engagement. So something that, if we're doing capital improvement, because we're doing a mural on that wall by the pool or whatever that looks like, and also engaging the community might be a sort of a way to double book that.
So with that can of worms open, I do think that this would be a really good conversation for us to continue having, so that, that all the weight isn't on CAPS to be doing that type of programming, because we've had that conversation that, too much programming is too much for CAPS to be responsible for, and it really should be sort of maybe turned in the other direction with recommendations, what is CAPS doing, and then how can the town and staff support that for this larger, bigger effort. We all would love to have that SCFD funding, but the only way we're gonna get that is if we're checking all the boxes. So just wanted to put that out there. So again, let's put it on the agenda if we can for next month or March.
Well, and to Neil's point, does it need to go in the memo for February 9th about
I would,
mentioning to the board?
we could add it in as, additional.
Options, yeah, I think it's a
Options.
great idea, because I read the memo, those things are interesting to me. But there's 6 others that would have to, first staff's gotta find the money somewhere. And then, if the board wants to go with the a la carte menu, we can add on.
And it could be that like this year, it's just a smaller part of those options. And then we just grow it.
And in that elementary school, like it was just, it's a nice, solid, great connection.
That's exactly what SCFD is looking for, the collaborations, the partnerships, youth involvement.
Is it possible to get artists to donate their time to lead a workshop? Especially in conjunction with such a big event, you know, they would get recognition and publicity, and I don't know if that would entice artists to help pro bono lead some of the workshops, so we wouldn't have to pay as much to Streetwise to do them. Or is that too big of a lift on CAPS to coordinate and find artists to?
When we did public art engagements, we always threw in an educational component with every engagement as just part of our fee. So for the artists, I don't think it's too big of an ask. Just more a matter of where and when.
Yeah, I never asked the mural artists, well, we did ask Hillary and company actually to do the public engagement thing, right? But I was always asking them if they'd be willing to at least talk to people, and I, recommend, send everybody down there to talk to the mural artists, so.
We could also include that as part of the call.
Willing to engage with the community.
And it could be that maybe it's the schools that are helping to paint the separate panels that we talked about, and the panels go inside the civic space or something.
And a year from now, both pools will be under reconstruction, so we're gonna have more things that have an opportunity to paint.
Well, the art teacher at Superior Elementary has volunteered to work with us in whatever way we would like him to, so.
And he's so great, he's so community oriented.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that he wouldn't jump in on this.
So I would imagine we would want to invite him to a couple meetings.
Agreed, he's the one who helped with that big mural that's in Long's Peak.
Oh.
Yeah, so he loves rallying his students for these kinds of things. He uses that as a teaching moment, which is fantastic. So I think it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll include them.
All right, so we're gonna close the work plan check-in and go to discussion, but now we're gonna do the BFF again. Because we need to formally vote, so that the town found a way to forward us, to advance us funding to bring our speakers in. But I'd like us to formally vote, that was $2,250.
Yes.
Was the final number.
Yeah.
So I don't usually lean on the committees one way or another for a vote, but I would like to approve this one because we have already paid for it. So I will make a motion for approving a fee of $2,250 to bring the producer of the librarians to Superior for speaking, in addition to another librarian speaker who was local.
I'll second.
Okay, since there's just 5 of us, maybe we can do a show of hands, all in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you.
I think, just for future, we have to just make sure that we don't do.
Let's not make it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Need
also
to-
thank you to staff for making that happen. It was a good opportunity.
Mhm.
250. All right. Next on our discussion was a potential work session with parks to discuss. I guess this is back to Perry Hawk, and we've got a spot in civic space that we like.
Yeah, sorry for the snow. This was not snow from this year because it hasn't snowed. Except for once, I think. But this is that triangular garden bed that's right in front of civic space that you initially had wanted Coyote Hawk to go. And I just wanted to put it out there. I double checked with Leslie today. It is slated for kind of a whole redo in the spring, probably in April, when irrigation gets turned on in April, and I think that's right about when they would do softscaping. So I really would love it for us to get ahead of the game to designate a spot within here for public art sculpture, whether it's a concrete podium pedestal kind of a thing. Something so that we don't go in later and have to tear out a bunch of landscaping. It'd be great if we know what we wanna do and they landscape around what your ideas are.
Do we just get one?
Maybe we, I think that's a great question, you know, maybe. You know, if Coyote Hawk's gonna go in, like potentially in this area here. Is there space over here? I mean, there's that giant rock with the plaque on it, but I don't know. I think this would be great for us to go down as a group, measure, think, brainstorm,
Can I share?
mark some spots.
I'll put up another angle of this just for perspective.
Before they landscape. I just wanna, yeah.
Same spot. Better weather. It's my son who's, 5 feet tall or something, he must weigh something like that.
Do you happen to have one of the whole thing? I mean, it's most of it.
Yeah, so the rock you pointed out is this guy here, kind of under the tree.
So there's some landscaping there. Don't know if it's all still alive.
All of this irrigation here is like
Are the
exposed
trees
and
dead?
leaking.
Most of the trees are pretty rough shape. Yeah, that,
So it could almost be a clean slate, except for that rock.
Yeah.
Unless we ask for the rock to be. No, never mind. Kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what the discussion, I'm happy to meet with Parks and walk out there and poke around and.
But
You're talking about Parks and Rec or PART?
it would be, no, yeah, Parks and Rec. Probably Superintendent Leslie and either all of CAPS or just a couple of you, but as you know, if there's more than 2 of you, then. It's considered a work session. If it's 2 or less, then we're fine. So I just wanted to put it out there. I don't know who's interested. I don't want you to feel left out if it's something we do, so I thought we should converse about it briefly. Who's interested in, like, you don't have to like commit right now, but. Would all of CAPS like to go, or would you like your leadership, or whatever you want, just let me know.
I'm interested and, I think as I mentioned at the top, I think we want to talk about kind of the holistic strategy of the artery and be deliberate about where these pieces go. So I think we need to talk about that here anyways, but I'm happy to walk out there and talk Parks. Sure. First of all.
Thoughts by anyone else?
I'm down there a lot. That's all I'm saying. I can walk over too, if you need bodies.
And ideas, yeah.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Coyote Hawk is sort of climbable maybe and sharp, and so, there's definitely ideas about elevating it or. Did I hear you say that maybe they're talking about putting a wall here? I thought I heard somebody say they might actually kind of do the brick thing that they've got back here.
I had not heard that.
No, okay, maybe I just made that up. Wishful thinking.
Are you saying you think we need a wall there?
No, but. Yeah, if they backfilled it or something, we could elevate it a little more.
I mean, what would be the point of meeting with Parks to talk about just safety or?
No, like either, putting concrete pads or having big concrete pedestals. So that future art can go there, so, because they're gonna completely re-landscape this garden. They can end up putting so much rock, trees and shrubbery that there's no room at all for any art.
So
We
we need to
wanna
go
get
with a
ahead of the
pitch for our,
game to make-
our little piece of real estate.
Get out ahead of their.
Or
landscape
multiple.
architect.
It could be a sculpture garden.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that has way more impact than one single piece.
and doesn't need to be watered.
Exactly.
Zero steeping and sculpture.
Yeah.
Sculpture steeping.
Okay, Chris is in, Sherry's in, I'm in.
Okay, so it sounds like it could be a work session.
Yeah.
So Leslie just requested that we meet with them before April. So stay tuned.
All right, I made it, Chris. Okay, you ever doubt me? So
You want to stop?
That's why you got voted back in.
the last 2 things that I just put on the agenda were not, I mean, these are literally things I think we talk about all year. So this is like planning the planning. one of them was this digital art exhibition strategy, and the other is the ARTery and our general art acquisition strategy. So it's just like, I want us to be thinking about how we're gonna do this year. How are we going to revisit the ARTery? What's our strategy? Do we care about it? Do we abandon it? Do we solidify it and then be deliberate about putting some piece in South Rock Creek this year to expand the thing or whatever, so this, just a general discussion about how we're gonna work through this in 2026.
Since you pointed out that comprehensive.
I didn't read the whole thing, but I don't think the comp plan had much to say about the ARTery.
No, but.
And then if that's too hard, the digital art, Chris, we have a small budget. I think we put $1,000 into the budget, with the idea that either we could commission or just get on a month loan or something, a local photographer to run these things in the civic space on our screens.
Well, first we gotta have the screens.
So we're gonna have the screens and where we're gonna put them as part of this discussion.
And I think we'd have to work with facility folks to make sure we, get permission after the time to keep screens where you want them, so that they don't get moved.
Does the town have any kind of like AI strategy preparedness?
No. Been discussed a couple of times by, I mean, at least from my level, talking to the town manager about just using some basic AI, it's like brand new to everybody, like,
don't even write credit cards.
yeah. So, like, I've suggested just like Copilot, like Copilot is an easy way, because there's like 20 years of data, like in all these Dropboxes, and new board members come on and they're like, how about this? And how about this? Like, you type here, it'll give you the answer, but you have to enable all that. It's never happened. So, and like a lot of other communities that actually have like an onboard AI on their website now that you could get, Q&A, you can do your billing with an AI agent.
Yeah,
We have a human.
I was actually thinking more along the lines of, getting people prepared for the impact of AI,
All that.
layouts, et cetera. And using the digital screens as like another awareness building tool with AI video or whatever, just to be like, this is state of the art.
Yeah.
Better get your shit together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we are constantly worried about, can our customers continue to pay for services if they're gonna get laid off by AI? So I'm just trying to help us think about that, like get everybody aware of stuff, right?
She came before too.
Yeah. The screen is great. I don't like where they have it, but
We had to move it because of the construction.
no, I know, but I did ask. And they said it's staying in where it is.
During construction.
I felt they said that's pretty much where, no, okay.
I'll move it.
Is there any way? This probably sounds whatever, but is there a way to signage it so that people kind of go, oh, that's. I mean, I don't know that people look, I wanna make it more noticeable.
And I think, with the gallery, an explicit gallery with a named artist and art, we would do like JG's been doing with the hallway here, the snaps and that kind of stuff, where we'd have a little opening reception or something and a little splash with comms and stuff so that people were there. And really to start.
I mean, that we get access to digital art like crazy. Especially now that the whole blockchain art movement is in a massive lull, all of those artists are looking for opportunities to just for exposure.
And since there's multiple screens, they could be in multiple locations.
Or we could get 4 nature photographers or
Yeah.
whatever and scroll them or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're talking about contracting somebody to program.
Yeah,
the
we actually,
screens.
we scheduled a budget so that we could do something like the reception and actually hire some content or commission content or something to really just want to actually step up and use these things that we paid for.
Can we get AI to do it?
We've done that. We
I'm
actually,
not kidding.
we've only got 2 actual galleries with this and one of them was the AI competition.
Yeah.
But she's saying just AI
Yeah.
to just make the
Like,
program.
upload all our pictures and have AI separate them and create presentations based on.
You have to have
Content.
the paid AI to do that.
Yeah, but that's less than $1,000.
No, I know, but
Like $3.
if they don't do AI,
Guys, one more really random thing before, yeah, Chris reminded me with, you know, meeting the future here. I've had this tab open for like a month to share with you guys, but I was at the Smithsonian, the Air and Space Museum, and they've got these just placards around, right? Cause they've got the drop boxes in the front where you can slip a $20 bill in, but who has that anymore, right? So they've just got these tap to give, and one of them said 5, and one of them said 10, and one of them said 50 or something, right? And it's literal tap to pay with your phone, and it just takes one bump and you've given the Smithsonian $50, right?
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, you know, Marshall Fire Remembrance is what comes up here, right? So this is a company that does this, they sell you the stand and 3 of the pucks, and you have to have your own payment process for that, and then, you know, so you know, the town has to manage how to receive money, which may not be trivial, but anyway, I'm just really fond of this, you know, just at the street fairs, at the mural festival, just out front here, you know, just, yeah, I'm happy to give to the town.
Be great to have one in the museums too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Bring one out to every event.
Yeah.
Put them at the front gates.
Especially if it's branded for Marshall Fire Remembrance.
Yeah, for the entrance to these things, they're free, you know, a show film.
Mhm.
Okay, if there's no other business, I move that we adjourn the January CAPS meeting at 7:57 PM.
I'll begrudgingly second.
Thanks for turning the lights out.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right.
wow,
Thank
do
you.
they forget?
Yeah, did they forget?